Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's your good friend Eric Thompson. This is the Ninja Selling Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and engaging. We appreciate it. This is going to be, my friends, another action-packed, another takeaway-rich interview with an incredible ninja doing incredible things in spite of some really hard things that happened in his world and in his market, in his environment last year. We're going to hear about that. I want everyone to be really happy to meet and hear from our guest ninja today. It's Jed Inductivo. Jed, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hello, Ninja Nation from sunny Los Angeles.
Yes, you're in LA, and tell us the company that you're with, Jed.
Yeah, I'm with the Compass Sunset Strip office. And again, part of our discussion will be, I just joined in April.
Oh, all right. Got it. Amazing. So the Sunset Strip office, where is that office? Like, imagine people, they know LA fairly well. Like, where is your office?
It's technically in West Hollywood. My office literally looks at the Sunset Strip, which is pretty iconic. And I am lucky enough to have a view of the Hollywood Hills as soon as I walk into my office.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Does that mean that you can see like the Hollywood sign that all of us see all the time on TV?
I can't see the Hollywood sign, but if anyone watches Selling Sunset, I can see Jason Oppenheimer's house.
Okay, I got it. Incredible. This is incredible. Okay, so Jed, we're going to talk about the incredible things happening in your business. We're going to focus on last year, 2025. 2025 was your best year yet. Congratulations on that. We are tracking and celebrating within Ninja Coaching, our Ninja Coaching clients who had their best year yet. Jed's one of our Ninja Coaching clients. You work with Coach Tracy Peterson. You had your best year yet. Jed, your business in 2025 was up 56% year over year. So we're all giving you like collective high five, fist bumps. We're celebrating that. So just congratulations. Like, that is awesome. And best year yet by a lot. Like, you were not up 5.6%. You were up 56%. And I want everyone to know that the theme today, this is going to be kind of the overarching theme that we're going to talk about. This is how to have your best year because of adversity, not in spite of adversity. So, Jed, last year, there were two big things that happened in your market, in your world, in your environment. One were the fires. I mean, we all saw the news. We saw the tragedy, just the devastation that occurred from the LA fires, and the brokerage that you were affiliated with, it dissolved in 2025. And yet you had your best year. I want you to share, Jed, you adopted a really powerful mindset related to what happened, that you give this mindset a lot of credit for helping you to have your best year. So tell us about that mindset that you adopted.
Yeah. So it's basically, this is happening for me, not this is happening to me. It has really been a guiding post through this year, but just in general in my life, it's been really helpful to think about that and kind of get me through not playing victim and Ninja World being a player, not a victim.
Okay, Jed, I mean, it's just amazing because of what happened. Those are two big things. One was more visible and impacted a lot of people, the fires, and then your brokerage dissolved. And there you were last year saying to yourself, this is happening for me, not happening to me. Tell us more about that. Like, tell us how you came about having that mindset. Tell us about what that meant to you specifically while those things were happening. We need to know more about that mindset because it's just incredible.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a work in progress over years of therapy, and I consider myself a self-help junkie. So I love Brene Brown, Mel Robbins, and that mantra actually comes from a guy named Rob Dial, who does a podcast called The Mindset Mentor. And it's something that just has stuck with me year over year.
Got it. Yeah, it's incredible. So you're someone clearly committed to improvement, committed to having a great mindset because you want to be on a continual path of improvement. You talked about the player versus victim mindset. Clearly, if you're saying that this is happening for me, not to me, that's exactly how a player would think about that. I think another takeaway here for everyone is that if you want to have a powerful, effective, positive mindset, you really have to proactively work on it. How often are you working on your mindset, whether it's something you're reading or listening to, or how often are you working on that?
it's daily, and it's been probably for the last 25 years. My mindset is not naturally like that. It's been work, but it's gotten there. It's where it needs to be. And I will also attribute, actually, I was in hotels for 20 years prior to this and ran really big food and beverage teams in Hawaii. In the hotel world, there's a crisis management. Like when you need to vacate 1,000 guests to the fifth floor because a tsunami's coming, you figure it out. And so I take that with me to real estate, and at the end of the day, gamifying it in a way, and just instead of freaking out, trying to find a solution. I think real estate agents at the end of the day are problem solvers. Your job is to figure out how to problem solve what your client's going through, what's happening in the transaction, whatever adversity comes, it's figuring that out. And I kind of actually enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, clearly. And so talk about having to figure things out. There you are in a marketplace that was having these fires. And so I'm guessing you had clients directly impacted by this.
Yes.
Tell us about what were your clients going through then?
Yeah. I mean, I was literally 2 blocks away from the evacuation area. So like from my apartment, I could see the fires blazing and was just on standby, ready to evacuate. Like we were basically next. So there was a lot of emotions. And then obviously clients that I knew who were impacted directly. So I'm part of the pandemic class. I'm 5 years in. My original mentor is a huge player in the Palisades. And so I have a lot of clients through her and just that I nurtured on my own. So there were actually several clients that were impacted. It was devastating. Just even hearing stories, it was a difficult time to say the least.
Right. We can only imagine. And so what was going on with real estate then? Did showings just stop? Did transactions stop midstream? Like, how was real estate impacted?
It impacted real estate in LA quite a bit. So first of all, there were all these people that needed to be housed. And so at the end of the day, we needed to find them housing, and it was short-term housing, right? It was leases. It wasn't sales. And I think many of us just stepped up to becoming leasing agents. I think at one point I had 15 active leasing clients that I was just trying to hear their stories, figure out what's the best way for them to proceed forward, and give them as many resources and emotional support. It was a point where it definitely was playing therapist. The other thing that I did during that time, and again, this was almost more of a distraction and had to sort of deal with the situation and be productive. And so I have a newsletter, and I did actually 2 different newsletter articles. One was literally right after it happened. The newsletter was basically to all my clients and people that I knew, just my sphere in general, telling people how to show up. So like, if you wanted to donate money, these are the places to donate money. If you were impacted, these are the places that are giving temporary shelter. Airbnb at the time was giving a promo code so that you could get a discount if you were a victim of the fires. And that was, I think, helpful for a lot of people. And it was just like a check-in. And then the second resource that I sent out a few days later was basically practical guides on if you were a victim, things that you should start looking at. So leases, getting a post office, mental health resources, all the things that if you're in the situation and you're not thinking straight, these are the things that you should be thinking about. So those newsletters were actually passed along to their clients, which is, I think, part of why I got so many calls to help them with their next step for a temporary lease.
Right. Absolutely. So there you were showing up, there you were adding value, helping out and helping people who are going through a really tough time. And what's coming up for me as a takeaway is that this is a great example of having responsibility, right? We all have the ability to choose a response. We all have hard things that happen to us, hopefully not as intense as the fires that we all saw on TV. But there you were choosing your response to that, choosing to take care of your own mindset, then choosing to take care of other people. And you were just really tuned in to what they needed at that time. I think for everyone, regardless of what happens, be very intentional about the response that you're choosing. And the results speak for themselves. And I mean, even more than the percent increase, Jed, just the help that you provided, the value that you added is incredible.
It was actually this New Year's and the holiday season, I actually got a few text messages from people that I had helped out or talked to. And there was actually some investors who were trying to help out, and they all reached out during the holidays, which was really nice.
That's amazing. Yeah. Your brokerage also dissolved. You had to switch brokerages. Had your best year yet. And now what we're going to do, Jed, is we're going to get into just some tactics. People they're curious to know, what did he do? I want to have my best year yet also. By the way, that's exactly why we do podcasts like this, because we want all of you to have your best year yet. And we want to give you a formula, give you a framework, give you examples of what to do. So in addition to this really powerful mindset that Jed had, there's some tactical things, Jed, that you were doing. Let's talk about real estate reviews. It's a frequent topic. You have something interesting, innovative, creative that you do. You have what you call your 15-minute real estate review and your 5-minute real estate review. So what do you mean by that? What does that look like? What are they?
I want to start by saying that I really want to thank Tracy for going through the motions of these two with me, because I have painlessly gone through editing and editing and editing these two versions. But basically where this came from was I was realizing that there was a lot of power to real estate reviews. In addition to my own clients, I thought that there's other people that could use them who I didn't know as well, but I didn't have the time that I spend on a full review. So my challenge every week when I'm checking off my Ninja 9 was it just seemed really labor intensive. And so I didn't do it. And so Tracy and I basically talked about all the things that were basically like rinse and repeat, what things my VA could help me with. Something for me is like, I want my clients to always feel very bespoke, like I'm just sort of speaking to them. So really working with the VA to make it custom to them. And so the 5-minute version is basically a pull from the RPR. So I can do it actually for anyone in the country. And then in addition, it includes all the other things that are quarterly sort of updates. It seems like there's a big packet, but I'd say more than half of it is actually things that go to both reviews, but it's the same packet, if you will.
So when you call it the 5-minute review, it takes you 5 minutes to pull it together.
I literally pull the RPR address. And again, this is with the caveat that my VA does sort of the customizing of the cover letter and the graphic and all that stuff. And honestly, this is perfect for neighbors when I meet people at open houses, anyone that I'm talking to out of market. So again, I can kind of do it for anyone in the country. And then people that I don't really know that well, but I think that they would benefit from it.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Just to be sure everyone knows what you're talking about. So RPR is the Realtor Property Resource. It's a benefit. It's a resource that we all have because we are realtors. We're part of NAR. And so you go into RPR, you put in the address, and you pull which report from RPR.
I custom the report specifically for the things that I thought were interesting. So it's a custom template, but it's based, I believe, on the listing report. But I'm happy to share kind of what that is with anyone. I think it's interesting and it pulls them in.
Yeah. We can post it in the Facebook group, maybe, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
So that's a 5-minute one. It takes you 5 minutes to pull it together. And then you have one called the 15-minute version. So what's that?
So that is, again, it's using RPR, but drafting different information that I think is interesting. And then using Focus First. So there's the Focus First summary. And then I'm pulling a lot of the national data. This next part are the things that are also in the 5-minute, but then I'm pulling quarterly. So the national data, my MLS has like quarterly updates on local appreciation of different areas and pockets of Los Angeles. And then I also do, because I do a lot of agent to agent referral business. So I do guides on investing outside of California, because investing in California, it depends on what you're looking for, but it's sometimes smarter to invest outside of California if you're looking for wealth building quicker. I include in there a home systems lifespan guide and then a 2025 repair list.
Got it.
And then I do for the 15-minute, a custom cover letter that basically tells them when they purchased, what they purchased it for, what their dollar per square foot is. And then I celebrate what that difference is now. So I never give an action on that, but I give a range. And then same thing with dollar per square foot. And then that cover letter tells them I'm open for all these things that I can do with the information in there.
Perfect. And so are you sending these in the mail? Are you hand delivering them? How do you deliver them?
So this goes into like my other big push, which is coffees and lunches. So I basically set up a coffee and lunch, and that's the ideal time to do it. And actually at the coffee and lunch, I actually don't want to talk about the real estate review. I purposely try to give it to them at the end so that I can follow up with them the following week. But I also will just, like, if they're really busy, I'll just drop it off. I'll do a pop-by or basically hire someone to help me just drop them off.
So you bring it along with you to the coffee or lunch and you give it to them at the end. So does it sound like, oh, by the way, this is something I put together for you. It's called a real estate review. Go ahead and take it. Is that kind of how that goes?
Yeah. Well, so with my clients that have closed with me, I've sort of already trained them. Part of my process toward the end of when we're closing is for them to expect a real estate review on the anniversary. So they kind of know it's coming. And the call to make the lunch or coffee date is basically saying, I have this packet of information I want to share, but really, I just want to catch up with you.
Yeah. Great. Okay. You commit to at least 2 coffees and lunches per week.
Correct.
So you would say that, like, when we're going to get specific about what caused that 56% increase, this is a big part of it for you. The real estate reviews, the coffee lunches.
My biggest sales this year have come from this combination of real estate review, coffee, lunch, by far.
By far. Okay. By far. I'd love to ask a question. If there was one thing you were going to hang on to, you're going to give up everything else that you do to attract business, but there's one thing you're going to hang on to, would this be it for you?
It would be this combo. And again, coming from the food and beverage world, I really enjoy going to lunches. It's part of my DNA to enjoy that. And so I think there's also something that happens when you're sharing food and beverage that just bonds people initially or automatically, if you will.
Yeah.
That just kind of happens. So for me, I feel really comfortable in the having coffee or lunch space.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, there's a lot of science behind that about the power of breaking bread with someone and the kind of the ritual of it. It allows you to deepen the relationship. I wanted to make sure I understood one thing. So are you following up the following week?
Yeah. So when I hand it to them, I'll be like, hey, look it over, like no rush. I'll follow up in a week and see if you have any questions or thoughts on anything. And then in a week, there's always something interesting in the real estate. Like there's always something that's kind of weird or interesting. And so when I call to follow up, I usually that's like a conversation piece is like, oh my God, wasn't that interesting that your pocket went up more so than this pocket of LA? Like, whatever the quirk is.
Yes. There's always something. There's always something interesting in that real estate review. And like you said, it becomes a great conversation starter. It's a great thing to share. Hey, did you notice? Hey, here's something I thought was interesting. Whatever it is, there's going to be something interesting. It's so much better, wouldn't you agree, Jed? It's so much better than calling someone and asking, hey, do you have any questions? You looked at that real estate review. What questions do you have? What that does is it puts all the burden on the other person to come up with a question. But instead, when you can share the interesting tidbit takeaway, you're showing your expertise and you're not putting any burden on them. You're just giving them some value.
Yeah. And what I will say has been actually helpful is because I don't give a value, I just give a range, is a lot of the follow-up has been like, hey, I saw this range. It's kind of broad. Not that I'm trying to sell, but do you mind giving me a better broker's price opinion? In which case I'll do like a much deeper dive to that area and really get them a better value.
Absolutely. Okay. So that's a big deal for you. So if we were watching you, say in early 2024, you weren't doing this. This is a big pause of your change year over year.
Yeah, I recently went to a luxury summit in Santa Barbara that Compass threw, and there was a really big producer here. His average sales point is 20 million, and his whole thing was coffee and lunches. He's like, I've never spent $1 in marketing. Everyone that has works with me, or like a deal spurs from it after a coffee and lunch.
Right. Amazing. I mean, it's as simple as that. Okay. So another thing that really drives your business are agent referrals. You're very intentional about this. So tell us about that. Like how much your business is coming from other agents as a referral. What do you do to create that?
Yeah, it used to be almost 80% when I first started, and it's probably now closer to 65 to 70. I'm not originally from LA. I'm originally from New York City, and then I lived in Honolulu for 13 years. So when I moved here right before the pandemic, and that's kind of why I got into real estate, was my industry went away. There were no events or food and beverage happening live. So my mentor very astutely said, you need to find other agents and start building those relationships. You can't hone in on grandma and all her friends or the people that you grew up with. Those were in New York and Honolulu, right? So I very quickly started going to conferences. So at that point, I was with KW and I went to every family reunion, mega camp. Whenever there was something to meet people from other agents or there was any Zoom calls to do that, I was very intentional to show up and build those relationships. And over the years, they really have become like my A clients. I literally treat some referral agents as like A clients. There's lots of things that I do intentionally to build that. I do 2 what I call agent connection calls. So I do that twice a week. That's an invitation for any agent. So anyone on this call, I would love to do an agent connection call. Basically, that's like a 15-minute Zoom call just to get to know each other, understand each other's markets, and really share best practices. I look forward to those. They're kind of a fun call.
So 15 minutes on Zoom with another agent in another market. You connect, ask forward questions, and share best practices and talk about your market.
The most of it is forward, and then we start talking about business. And then I'm intentional about making sure that they're feeder markets to LA. So I try to intentionally look for those agents. But again, I'll meet with whoever. And then the other thing that's been really helpful is I've created a one sheet about me. After the call, I basically send them the one sheet, and it just becomes an easy way for them to store and remember me, the areas of LA that I serve, the things that I specialize. There's also like a part about silly things that I'm interested, like that make me or that I'm interested in. And it just becomes an easy way for them to literally forward it to a referral client. At the end of the day, we want to make it as easy as possible for other agents to refer you. And this one sheet has been very helpful.
How many of those are you doing per week? Those agent connection calls?
2.
2 a week. Okay. So you do 2 a week.
That's the goal. I aim for 2 a week.
Okay.
It's also just trying to be creative. So like one of the things I realized was on all those Facebook referral pages, there's what, you call like the cheerleaders, and like the same people keep getting called up. And so I came up with a plan to basically counter that. It's called Refer the Referral Agent. And again, this stands for anyone on the podcast. You don't need to be the referral agent, but if you refer me as a LA agent to someone who has a referral client or a referral agent, I will throw 5% of my commission to you for just speaking about me. So if you're in a conference meeting, you hear someone's like, oh, I need someone in LA. If you're like, oh my God, I have a great agent. Even though you're not the referral agent, I'll throw a 5%, which is about $1,500. So that's been actually a pretty interesting initiative. And that's something that I bring with me conscientiously to all these conferences.
Right. You just got intentional about this. You're in flow with agents intentionally. The goal is 2 a week. So gosh, if you did that 45 times in a year, that's 90 agent connection calls. Then you've come up with this program. So no wonder 65% of your business is coming from other agents.
I will say too, it's also when you go to these conferences, I think being intentional about the groups that you naturally connect with. So in KW, the KW Rainbow Network was a big affinity group that I was a part of. Chispa, which was the Latin group, was another part. So like whatever your thing is, find those agents because you'll more easily bond to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's been helpful.
Yeah, been super helpful. You shared a great quote with me that one of your mentors shared with you. If you don't show up as your authentic self, how are people going to find you? So when you were just talking, that quote jumped to mind. This is all great. Okay, so another thing that really drives your business are events. This also ties to your hospitality background. So maybe if it's okay, Jed, like 2 questions in one. Tell us about events that you do. And then also just tell us about how all that time in the hospitality business and what you learned there, what you did there, how you weave that into your real estate business, how you bring that to real estate.
Yeah, I did it for 20 years. So it's part of my DNA. So like my open houses always have food and beverage. So there's always music. It feels like an event, or I try to make it feel like an event. But really, I think what the hospitality world, especially in the hotel side, has taught me is a process with intentionality that feels bespoke to the client or to the guests. So what I mean by that is like, if you went into a Four Seasons, and really the housekeepers are the data gatherers, they're putting things basically into a CRM. If you were to have a yoga mat, they saw that you had a yoga mat and you were drinking a bottle of Tito's or you went into the snack, like whatever you were taking, that information goes into the CRM. So the next time you stay at a Four Seasons, those things may magically appear. And so in the same respect, what I've done in my process for buyer and seller is for every milestone, something happens, but it's bespoke to that period, right? So it's very predictable when we go on our first outing or when we have an accepted offer or when we're reviewing offers or the night that before they're moving. For example, for our first outing, I already kind of know when I do an intake sheet, like all the snacks they like. So those snacks will be what I bring for their first outing, or the night that they're moving, I know like their favorite takeout, so that they're not going to cook that night. So like I literally make sure they're home and then I send takeout from their favorite restaurant.
Okay. So tell us about the intake sheet. So you have an intake sheet for every new client that you have them fill out or you fill it out?
So right now my CRM is Sphere, and it has basically a function where you can send basically an intake form. On that sheet is everything from like your favorite snacks, your favorite TV shows, your favorite books, your Amazon list. So they input all those things. And then I kind of fill in the blanks as I get to know them.
My friends, that is next level. That is next level. That's how to be a ninja. That's how to raise the bar. That's how to deliver just wow service and really take care of people. And what an amazing idea. Treat your clients just as if they're staying at a Four Seasons. By the way, if Four Seasons is listening, I like peanut M&Ms. If next time I'm at a hotel, if that was like waiting for me when I arrived,
You're going to have so much peanut and M&Ms, you're not even know what to do with.
right. Yeah. So, okay, that's amazing. So you make your open houses feel like an event, and then you're doing other client events as well.
Yeah, there's a few things I think that I do that are interesting. And again, it's the things that I'm interested in and that they're interesting. So like, for example, so I do 4 client events a year. Like the next one's a client vision board party. I have another one. I just adopted a dog and we're doing a full like rescue promotion. And so I'm partnering with a rescue organization in the spring. And so we're doing an event there. Closer to the elections, I'm doing like an election registration party. And then for the holidays, I do a white elephant book exchange. And so everyone brings their favorite books and you can swap, and it's kind of a fun time.
A great example, I think, of the best flow is authentic flow. The best flow is authentic flow. So what's authentic to you, getting people together, hosting these events, taking care of them, again, using that hospitality background that you have.
Yeah. And then I think it also becomes something that's more fun to do if you're into it, right? And then you draw the people that are into the things that you're into.
Yes. Exactly. Jed, we mentioned at the beginning that you're part of Ninja Coaching. You work with Coach Tracy. What was happening for you in that moment when you decided that it was time to have a coach?
I was doing group coaching with someone named Jennifer Myers through Asian Grad School, which is very ninja-like. It's all relationship driven, but it was only group coaching. And so that took me to a great place. I got way further ahead by having group coaching, but I think it came to a point where I realized my business needed one-on-one attention, and all my quirks, strengths, weaknesses, challenge, like I needed someone to help me tailor what was going to work best for my business and how to almost be a sounding board. At that point, I was a student of Ninja, if you will. And so it just became kind of obvious that I was looking for a Ninja coach. And I think I test drove 5 coaches before I got Tracy.
Yeah, I got it. Which is great. We find in coaching what's a big deal, what's very, very important, goes without saying, to have that great personality match, somebody you really feel a fit with, really resonate with, so that they can do what you were just mentioning, really meet you where you're at, to customize Ninja for you. It's one thing to know the Ninja system. It's another thing to apply it into your personal business, given your personal circumstance, right? We all have our own personal circumstances, schedule constraints, obligations, style, approach, all the things. And so to have that custom approach, it sounds like that's really what you wanted.
Yeah. And honestly, I see my coach almost like my COO or my board of directors, and Tracy. So when my brokerage firm dissolved and I had literally a freak out moment at the gym when I found out, Tracy was my first call. And we basically came up with a plan at that moment to what were the next calls and what I was going to do to figure out what I needed to write offers. I had a listing coming up. We had to move really quickly, and she was super helpful to make that more seamless.
Yeah. She was your go-to for that in that tough moment.
She is, and she is in a lot of circumstances, but I really do see her as part of my team, if you will. She really is like a board of directors.
Yeah. Awesome. So happy about that.
The other Ninja thing that has been really helpful, I want to plug John Brewer. I did both the listing mastery and the buyer mastery. And honestly, getting so granular, it was really helpful for my last year. The buyer process, quote unquote, only has 10 steps. The listing process has 16 steps. But there's so much more that goes into it. And I think there's some ambiguity potentially. Both those courses really helped me become more Ninja and really understand it in a much deeper level. So I will also say that both courses helped last year as well.
Awesome. So happy to hear that. That's great. So Jed, tell us about 2026. What's your magic wand for the year and what are you focused on? I'm guessing you'd like to go ahead and have your next best year yet. So what do you focus on to make that happen?
So my guiding word of the year, phrase of the year is calm in the hard. And so what I mean by that is when hard moments show up to bring a energy and a strength of calmness into it. And so I think with that mindset, that will be like a good guiding post. Like when you need to have a hard conversation or you're going up for a hard listening appointment, really thinking that similar to last year, the adversity, if you come into it calm, like it's there for you to grow from it. So that's sort of what I'm bringing into 2026 from 2025. But to answer your question, sorry, not that I don't do all Ninja 9, but I would say my vital few, right, is definitely real estate reviews, the 2 coffees. And then one of the things that I'm really honing on this year is my power hour. I even met with Lonnie Gordon, who's on the podcast, and that was one of his big to-dos. So really just becoming more intentional, having almost like a pre-ritual, which Tracy's working on me with, like a pre-ritual, pre-call to get into the mindset to then call my people.
Yeah, awesome. Coach Lonnie lives nearby you, so you went to go meet with him. And
yeah, we met for coffee. He was great. It was enough to spend some time.
That's great. Yeah. Shows the power of the Ninja Nation.
The other thing too that I'm bringing into this year is really my time blocking and how I arrange my day. And so it's really having my AM be sacred for focus, clarity, and money. And what I mean by that are things that are projects that need to happen in the morning. And so basically anything that does not include focus, clarity, money, or money producing is going to be for the PM. And that's really for admin, internal meetings, anything unexpected. And if there is nothing, then fun. Because I think what was happening before is the unexpected was happening in the AM. I would handle it, and then my day would not go as planned.
Yeah, you would hope to have time in the afternoon to work on money generating activities, but we all know how that goes when you hope to have time later in the day. So you flip that around. You're saying, no, I'm going to do those things in the morning. I'm really going to be in charge, be in control of that. And then my afternoons are open for the other things.
I've moved my one-on-one with Tracy to the afternoon, my therapy sessions in the afternoon, all the internal, I might have a team of 3. Those are now in the afternoon. I really want to be intentional about getting the things on my business plan done.
Yeah. Jed, it's awesome.
One of the things I'm also working with Tracy is almost doing a personalized Ninja 90. Every month we're going to tackle one of the Ninja 9s and really dig deep. And that's going to be sort of the focus of that skill that month. And I'm excited to sort of get so granular with her on that.
Yeah, that's great. What a great approach.
And then if I could plug one more thing, is a new initiative called Buy a House, Get a Rescue Dog for Free. And that's going to be a big push for my business in 2026, is really leaning into the dog community. So the promotion basically is, if you buy a house with me, I will donate money for you to rescue a dog. So all the adoption fees, plus a wellness check. And then again, partnering with these rescues to do good for the little guys.
That is clever. That's really clever. Buy a house, get a rescue dog for free.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, it's so authentic, really near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Incredible. Well, Jed, thank you. Thank you for the takeaways. Thank you for being here today. Bravo on your success, your best year yet. We're wishing another best year yet for you in 2026. Jed is there in the LA market. Reach out to him, send him a note, drop him an email, thank him for everything that he shared. And we just want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in and listening as always. We greatly appreciate it. And we so look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Take care.
If you enjoyed this episode, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com to learn more about ninja selling classes and coaching to get you started or further your journey on the ninja path.
Thank you for joining us. Now go have an incredible day.